Hello and welcome to Astral Visionary, my dearest buddy. You probably observed by now that some individuals just do not know how to deal with someone like you. You do not fit within their regular categories. You don't respond how they anticipate, which confuses them. You see, they're accustomed to their nasty games, manipulation, gossip, and subtle insults at your confidence. They have seen it work on others previously, but not with you. No, you're not the same. You do not collapse. You do not break. And there's where it all starts. Their methods failed. And now it's they who are suffering the consequences of their own negativity. You didn't need to raise a finger. Why? Because you are under heavenly protection. You were set aside. They never saw this coming. They are now perplexed, surprised, and, to be honest, a bit terrified. Let me explain why you are untouchable. Stay with me, because at the end of this, you'll view your tale in a whole new light. They didn't anticipate someone like you. They've never met someone like you. Most individuals crumble under pressure. Most individuals are drawn into discussions, battles, and mental games. But you don't play such games. Your article is quite valuable. Your energy is too precious. See, individuals with low spirits need on turmoil to survive. It's their oxygen. If they can get you to respond, they'll win. But what happens if you refuse to give them your attention? What happens if their negativity meets your silence? They get into a panic. They swirl. And suddenly, they're the only one trapped in their trap. You are safe under God's care. The opponent may attempt, but he cannot win. They use darts of jealousy, envy, and manipulation, believing that you will fall like the others. Instead, you ascended. They reversed every trap they had placed for you. Everything they spoke was a curse. Return to the doorstep. They had no idea that while they were watching you, God was observing them. You have heard the expression touch, not my anointed, so you're the anointed one. That anointing is not something you display on the exterior. It is deep inside your soul. It's why people detect your presence before you talk. It's why people feel something unique about you, even if they can't put it into words. However, for others, the brightness is too much. It reveals their inner darkness, and when individuals feel exposed, they strike out. But here's a twist. Instead of seeing you crumble, they saw you become stronger with each hurdle they threw at you. Each struggle enhanced your spirit's knowledge, power, and resilience. What they wanted to use as a weapon against you ended up lifting you higher. They did not recognize they were assisting you. Every setback became an opportunity for something bigger. Every closed door served as a divine redirection. They believed they were obstructing you, but they were really diverting you to something much higher. You see, when you are divinely directed, every mistake, hardship, and seeming loss is still part of God's plan to exalt you. They assumed you were an easy target. They thought you were exactly like everyone else, someone they could play with, control, and put aside their pride. I told them that I've done this previously. It always works, but this time, something changed. This time, they met someone who did not react like others. This time, they met you. They underestimated you. But this wasn't their first error. Their first error was believing that they had greater authority than God's plan for your life. Their second error was expecting you would remain quiet forever. They didn't expect the stillness to be so strong. They believed that quiet indicated weakness. But you accepted a tremendous reality. True power is found in quiet resolution, not noisy responses. By choosing quiet, you allow wisdom to speak for you. You did not argue. You did not participate in their petty games. You knew the truth. Every reaction depletes energy, and your energy is too valuable to squander. So you remain focused. You allow them to unveil themselves. You just allow them to show their own weaknesses. They continued chatting as you kept going. They continued scheming, but you remained focused. They felt you were losing, but you were improving. Oh, how the tables turned. Their plans failed. None of the weapons they devised against you proved effective. Every time they sought to shame you, they were left looking foolish when they propagated rumors about you. The falsehoods finally came back to haunt them. They are now left with one simple, terrible question to ask themselves. Why didn't it work? They sit there perplexed, bewildered, and irritated, reliving everything in their heads like a broken record, attempting to figure out why you are still standing. They can't figure it out, but we both know why. It's God's hand on your life. Your brilliance was never intended to be veiled. It's amusing how individuals would go to tremendous efforts to dim a light they did not create. They will attempt to make you feel tiny, unimportant, and unworthy so that they can feel powerful. But that's when everything went awry. Your light does not come from them. Your light comes from God. It was put within you for a purpose. And here's the problem about heavenly light. It is unshakable. You've been through fire, storms, and times when you wondered if this was the end. Perhaps I can't handle it anymore. But you always survived and made it through. Your light became brighter. The light they attempted to extinguish only increased. They attempted to keep you out, but they overlooked something important. They did not start your fire, thus they cannot put it out. You've grown, elevated, and transformed in ways they never expected. It explains their confusion. They don't understand how someone who should have failed may suddenly thrive. That is the force of heavenly favor. And now they're sitting on the sidelines, watching you triumph. They're watching you succeed while they stay stagnant. They attempted to stifle your blessings, but in doing so, they just magnified them. The traps they created for you were the steps that led to your success. Do not be shocked if they start returning. Don't be surprised if they seek out for advice or to check in. But allow me to tell you something. They aren't checking in on you. They are checking in on themselves. They want to know whether you still recall the agony they created. They want to know whether you will grant them access to your item again. But you are wiser today. You see straight through it. You know better than to open that door again. You saw directly how their pride led to their downfall. And if they're asking how you keep rising, here's the answer. You are walking with heavenly favor. You were picked. You are protected. You see, they underestimated you. But God never did. He knew this was going to happen. He knew they would plan and conspire. They have doubts about you, but he knew it wouldn't work. Every effort to shatter you was part of his hidden plan to shape you. And you now stand higher, stronger, and more brave than ever. Remember this? No weapon manufactured against you will succeed, no matter how many times they attempt. No matter how hard they press, your light will not be shaken. They did not see your anointing before, but they do now. God's protection is over your life. Nobody, not one person, can take it away. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. If this message connected with you, please like, share, and subscribe. And while you continue your amazing voyage, feel free to view one of the videos that appear on your screen. Whichever one appeals to you the most. See you there.